What's up, everybody? This is Jadrian, the home locator, aka your favorite realtor. Just want to say thank you for the support that you guys are showing. Before we start this video, I want you guys to share it, like it, and subscribe. Once again, share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. We out. Watch the video. So, what are the lesser known costs that go into a closing or anything?
Yep. So there's three things that go into the money that's due at closing. We've got down payment. So on FHA, you can do as little as 3.5%. Conventional, you can do 3% for first-time home buyers. And then, 5, 10, typically we go into 5, 10, 15, 20% down situations. So there's the down payment, there's closing costs, and then there's prepaid items. Closing costs are going to be majority of fixed costs. And then there's a couple of those that are going to be catered to the loan amount price for the cost, for like the title policy. And then the appraisal is going to kind of differ depending on the size of the home, that sort of thing. But the majority of those are going to be fixed costs. And the closing costs. And then the prepaid items, if they have an escrow account, which is essentially like a checking or a savings account that's held with the lender, that the lender pays their taxes and insurance as they go forward. If they have an escrow account, they've got to have a few months taxes, a few months insurance set in the escrow account that they'll be paid at closing of the prepaid items. 1 year's homeowner's insurance paid up front, and then the days of interest is in the final part of the prepaids. So closing costs, or down payment, closing costs, and prepaid items, the three things. And a lot of people, sorry to cut you.
No, you're good.
A lot of people I find when I talk to them think that they just need the down payment. And so going back to the misconception is, a lot of people will think, in their head, they just need the 5%. So that's another good reason to get your feet wet early and talk to a lender and figure out what options you've got.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to ask, because a lot of people think, down payment, 10%. Whatever, 10 to 20%, whatever. That's what I'm gonna go with.
That's it.
I'm pretty sure that's
unfortunately,
and that falls in line to the misconception. Make sure you guys are talking to your lenders about every issue or every question that you may have, because you don't want any surprises. Surprises will prolong the whole transaction, and it may not go through. So just make sure that you're on top of everything. The lender is gonna make sure that you're on top of everything, and it's gonna be a smooth closing. So, but yeah, Ryan's pretty great at that.
For sure.
So, last question I got: How does the environment that we live in, or just the economy in general, how much of a role does that play in the market? Let's just say a lot of people say that the election year is a competitive market. So how is that? Better words to say, how does that influence the market on the real estate side?
The election. The election. I mean, it's definitely always going to be something that's going to swing things, just because there's always a lot of uncertainty which way it's going to go, that sort of thing. The main thing is, with rates, kind of tiptoeing back into the misconception thing. A lot of people think that, the information that's out, with where rates are, that sort of thing. They always feel like rates come from, specifically from the Fed, and that sort of thing. And mortgage rates are derived by mortgage-backed securities that are bought and sold on the bond market. So everybody always hears the Fed funds rate. They always think that that's the biggest thing. While it does play into it, it's not the biggest leading indicator of where rates are going, that sort of thing. But it is part of the scenario. But that's more of the overnight money that people borrow from banks for like auto loans, credit cards, that sort of thing. So the biggest thing is where the Fed funds rate is, for that type of scenario. But for mortgage-backed securities are going to be the big thing. So it kind of just depends with what, obviously, that plays into the market. And it's always, the election year is always going to be something that's going to throw something in there. So hopefully it'll be for the best this year.
What do you consider I have a lot more questions, but I'm going to kind of slim it down. My bad. But how many, what would you say is a competitive market as far as, just in general?
Like rates? I mean, honestly, when I bought my first house back in 2009, I got 6.5 and I was doing backflips. So, I mean, for me, I think a lot of people that have seen these rates, that when the government stepped in and bought these rates down to so low, that it's hard for a lot of people to give up a 2.5-3% rate, right? Yeah. And I think that's one thing that's hard for them that we haven't had to deal with, right? Because back when I bought my house, that rates were coming down, right? So 6.5 was a good rate. But in the grand scheme of things, I still feel like in the 5s is not a bad deal. A lot of people still may have a little bit of kind of discomfort with that, but in the grand scheme of things, we're not far off from what I think that we may be seeing
going in the right direction
and maybe sticking. I have a hard time believing rates are going to get back.
So
I just have a hard time. So I think we just need to set the comfort level, and this is probably where we're going to be going forward. Is they may come down a little bit, but the people that are waiting for 3-4%, I just have a hard time believing that we're going to see that anytime soon.
Do you think 2020 kind of hurt the market? I mean, it was, now as a realtor, I wasn't a realtor yet, but everybody was selling houses. I'm talking like 5 to 6 houses every other month. It was wild.
Right.
But do you think that did anything to the market, like as far as?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think, COVID was a real thing. A lot of people died from it. It was terrible. I remember wiping down my groceries with wipes. I mean, and now when I think about it, I'm like, holy cow, we did
that. Could have killed me
myself. I mean, what are we doing? In my opinion, did they need to do what they needed to do as far as they did? No. It's like, Jay, you go into the doctor, the doctor hits you on the knee with the hammer, and you do this big knee jerk reflex, right? It's the same thing, right? They didn't know how far they needed to go, so they pulled back as much as they felt that they needed to, and unfortunately, I think it went a little too far. I think that people could have afforded a little bit, more, but they just didn't know. It almost felt like the world was ending, and so mortgages are the dark horse of the economy, and whenever there's negative things like that, then rates are going to get low. So bad news is good news for rates. But do we want, as myself, I would prefer to not have, bad news, but that's just me, So. Well,
hey, that was a lot to digest, but I feel like that was everything that we could touch on for right now. I really appreciate you, because I sat down and learned a lot myself. So, but yeah, I appreciate you coming by today.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned for the next episode. We're out.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Jadrian, your favorite realtor, the home locator. And I'm sitting here with Ryan. I appreciate you guys for checking out our video, but also want to say, if you have any questions as far as buying, selling, renting a home, or even just a vacation home, if you have any questions as far as real estate market wise, you can reach out to me. And if you have any lending questions, I can reach out to Ryan, or I can just put his number and everything on it. You probably don't want that, but
no, I'm good.
I'll go ahead.
Feel free to do that.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put all the information that you would need to reach out to the both of us, and we'll take care of you guys. But I appreciate you guys for watching our video. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you. We're out.
Thank you.